In the previous episode, we bought the most advanced aquarium from Xiaomi and filled it with plants, shrimp and fish, which gave birth to even more little fish. The labor was tough and one of the fish was born undeveloped. We named him Johnny. He had a deformed tail and an undeveloped air bladder, which is why it was hard for him to swim upwards and he was always lying on the bottom. We didn't abandon him and created the appropriate conditions to give him a chance to get stronger and survive. It's been 240 days since the creation of the aquarium ecosystem, which is still in perfect condition. The fish are developing, they have grown considerably since birth and are now in their teenage years in human terms. Initially, I thought that the more food the fish get, the better and faster they will grow, but then I read that it may be dangerous, as they can get sick and even die, so I reduced the ration and fed them every other day. However, it looked like the shrimp wouldn't mind getting more food, since they spend almost 100% of their life eating. Johnny was the only one who received a small amount of food every day, which made the other fish envious, and they probably said some unpleasant words through the glass. I have no idea how this little snail appeared in the aquarium, but it didn't bother anyone, so we decided to leave it in peace. I had to refresh the water in Johnny's glass every day, pouring some of it into the aquarium and refilling the glass with filtered water from the tank, thus preventing it from spoiling in the closed container. Once I planned to leave home for a week, so I invented a way to maintain the same conditions both in the glass and in the general tank, while keeping Johnny isolated in his safe place. I took this transparent plastic container and drilled a lot of holes in it. The holes had to be small so that Johnny wouldn't escape through them, but at the same time, the water could freely move in and out of the container due to the water flow created by the aquarium pump. Thus, there would be no need to care about the water refreshment in Johnny's mini aquarium. The container was much shallower than the glass, so it took way less effort for Johnny to swim up to the surface to get food. You may ask who fed the fish while I was away. Well, the aquarium is equipped with an automatic feeder, but it can't be programmed to feed Johnny's container separately from the other fish. Then I determined the exact place where the feeder drops food and moved Johnny's container there so it partially covered this area. Thus, the food from the feeder fell both into the general tank and Johnny's mini aquarium. Before leaving home, I placed a mobile CCTV camera beside the aquarium so that I could watch what was happening inside, turn the lights on and off, and feed the fish remotely via my smartphone, even from another country. Upon returning, I found Johnny alive. He was feeling well and had even put on some weight. I like this futuristic aquarium a lot, but one day I noticed two indicators on its panel, one of which probably tells me to change the filter. Over time, I faced a minor problem. The paint on the light button was wiped off, and soon it would be hard to notice. The same thing was happening with the manufacturer's logo. Nevertheless, I found a white permanent marker sent to me by the Chinese and drew the light button using it and my excellent drawing skills. As for me, it looks even better than it did before. Also, I refined the logo, drawing the cat's eyes and mouth. In another month, the fish have become quite large. They have grown massive tails and different color patterns. I believe they are ready for the next level of feeding with these red worms. I don't know where they come from or how they are grown, but I had to pay as much as $2 for them in the store, and they seem to be pretty aggressive. We put some in a dropper and throw them to our predators. Here begins a great feast. Everyone gathers around the worms and attacks them. In the meantime, the worms sharply move their tails attempting to fight off the fish and escape. This worm is such a skilled kung fu master that even the two biggest fish can't cope with him. A shrimp tries to eat this delicacy, but the worm fights off this predator too. You won't believe it, but one day Spartacus used some strange magic and I found him inside of Johnny's container. Maybe he wanted to visit his friend and somehow jumped over the wall. Oh, by the way, Spartacus turned out to be a female. However, it was not the only strange incident, as the next day one of the catfish mastered the ability to levitate and decided to lie upside down on the ceiling, which was the bottom of Johnny's container. And a large transparent shrimp decided to escape from the aquarium. It looks quite creepy out of the water. Even though Johnny is doing well in his mini aquarium, he may be envious of his siblings who can swim freely in the big tank and have contact with each other. We decided to release him to the rest of the fish and see what would happen. He immediately rushes around the aquarium, exploring it with delight. The other fish look at him with surprise, and probably don't even realize that he is also a fish because of his swimming style. Later, we returned him to the container and occasionally repeated this kind of an exercise. One morning, I walked into the room and this is what I saw on the glass of the aquarium. Some kind of a white web was growing on it. It looked like a web of roots of some kind of a fungus. Or maybe that was the fungus itself. I was scared, not knowing if it could somehow affect the fish or even cause their death. What's even worse, the fungus was growing literally before my eyes. After hours of surfing the internet, I couldn't find anything similar and had no idea what to do. That's when I recalled that fungi aren't big fans of light, so I turned on the brightest light possible and surrounded the aquarium with lamps for a few hours. And it worked! The fungus started to shrink and then disappeared completely. Since the fish eat a lot, they poop a lot, and all that stuff settles to the bottom. That's why I have to change the water in the aquarium every 2 weeks. To do this, I put one end of the hose in my mouth, dip the other end into the tank and blow into it. The stream of water and air hit the bottom, raising all the dirt. Then I suck the air from the hose and capture all the dirt with the tube. After that, I pour the clean water into the tank and make the fish happy. We've spent all these months testing the aquarium, and now we are sure that it does work properly and facilitates the keeping of the fish. We helped the mother fish deliver her babies and raised her juveniles into adult fish. Also, we literally gave life to Johnny by creating the proper conditions for him to grow and gain strength. This is the last video of the series. I have found a new owner who has agreed to keep all the fish and has promised to take care of them. And now, we need to wash and prepare the aquarium for the implementation of an even cooler idea that you'll see in a new series of videos about the aquarium from the future.